When you're a sophomore, junior in high school, you should be able to take credits that allow you to qualify for college credit at a state university or at a community college. People are beginning to do that around the country. Let's offer every American a path to a good career, whether they go to college or not.
That's President Biden yesterday talking about his free community college program. Could be up to $90 billion in cost. It follows his attempts to forgive billions in student loans for college before the midterm elections. Rikki Schlott has a different idea. Quote, "I didn't finish college and society should quit stigmatizing that." She's writing in the New York Post, and Rikki is with us now. Nice to see you. I appreciate it. When you say stigmatize, what do you mean?
Well, 4 in 5 non-grads say that they've faced some form of stigma. I would say personally that people tend to react either by saying good for you and do your own thing, or they raise an eyebrow and they're like, but you're going back, right? And so I think, it divides crowds, and there's still a sense that you're somehow lesser than if you don't have a degree, which is frankly an elitist attitude that I think we need to get past as a society.
Well, I would venture to perhaps say there's a third group who are just jealous that you don't have the student loans that they have as well, in terms of the debt load. But I'm thinking about this because there's this huge movement, right, in the name of equity to end SAT and ACT requirements. 1,000 plus universities now don't require them. And the U.S. News and World Report rankings for med schools and for law schools, all in the name of equity. And yet these are the same people who are perpetuating the idea that you have to go to college in order to be able to have a prosperous life in America.
Absolutely. I mean, Columbia University, which I have an acceptance letter in hand from right now, just dropped their degree requirements to their first Ivy League school to do so. And, what does that actually mean then at that point? If you don't need an SAT score, if you don't have an objective measure of who you are as a candidate, I think we're kind of blurring the lines of excellence. And a lot of these degrees are increasingly meaningless, too. I mean, having been at NYU quite recently, I saw some pretty obscure and pretty inapplicable degrees and classes that I can't even really imagine what that sets you up for career-wise going forward. So I think a lot of young people, myself included, are looking at the piling student debt. I mean, we're approaching $2 trillion in outstanding student loans at the moment. They're looking at increasingly insane classes like queer ecologies and thinking, I don't want to pay $6,000 for that class. And I think rightfully so. There will be more and more young people who look at the system and say, that's not for me, and I'm going to do my own thing and actually learn and get some life experience instead.
Yeah, you put your money where your mouth is, or the reverse of that, because when NYU then went to all Zoom classes, you said, hey, I'm not going to pay full freight for classes that aren't full experience. Median annual earnings, full-time year-round workers aged 25 to 34, so people who've just graduated from college. This is 2020, might be skewed a little bit because of the pandemic. Bachelor's degrees, almost $60,000 a year. High school diploma, $36,600. We've always thought in America, right, that the goal was for kids to do better than their parents did. The way to do that was to go to college, first in your family to go to college, on and on and on. Does that still apply at all, you think?
I think that there are certainly places and times, like I would love for my lawyer to have a degree or my brain surgeon to have a degree. There are people who need them. I'm not saying to burn the whole system down, but by and large, I think we've been sold a bad set of goods, the idea that you need to just have a piece of paper, whether or not it applies to your career path in the end. And when you ask young people today, 2/3 of high school students at the moment say they want to pave their own paths career-wise. I think that we should celebrate that. We should allow people to be more independent, and society should start supporting people like me who don't have a degree. And in fact, one of my employers, Fire, where I'm a fellow, actually changed their policy in order to hire me, and I think more and more companies should do so and consider broadening it out to more enterprising and independent young people.
Well, and you are a excellent spokesperson for that. Your article said stigmatizing. It makes me wonder whether it's stigmatizing or discrimination against those without degrees. Rikki, we've wanted to have you on for a long time. We're excited that you're our guest tonight. Come back and chat soon, all right?
Thank you. I would love to.
Thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.